Which brings us very nicely, in fact, to the first one I'm going to talk about today, which is Nightmare City. And it's welcome back once again for the second show in a row to Umberto Lenzi.
Oh, yeah.
So in 1980, he was very busy. So he obviously made Eaten Alive, which we talked about in the last show. And he also made this film, which is Nightmare City. Nightmare City, also known as City of the Walking Dead in America. But it's called Nightmare City everywhere else. As I said, came out in 1980. And Ria, why don't you tell us the story, the synopsis of, I
will. I mean, first of all, great title. I actually really like the title. But yeah, the synopsis. An airplane exposed to radiation lands and blood-drinking zombies emerge armed with knives, guns and teeth. They go on a rampage, slicing, dicing and biting their way across the Italian countryside. I mean, who would not watch this? This epic logline.
Yes. So a couple of interesting things to note before we kind of start talking about the film itself. So the main actor in this film is a Mexican actor. His name's Hugo Stiglitz, who has been in other films, but this is his most well-known role. And why I mention this is one of the people who's a really big fan of this film is Quentin Tarantino. And he has talked about this in interviews. And in fact, he is such a big fan of this film that there is a character in Inglourious Bastards called Hugo Stiglitz.
Nice.
Who is played by Til Schweiger. So he's one of the Nazi hunters.
I did not know that. That's really
cool.
No,
neither did I.
Little cool factoid there.
Yes. So before I introduced the film, we talked about things like, 28 Days Later created Fast Zombies. And the director, Danny Boyle, he would probably say, well, they're not zombies, they're rage-infected people. Yeah. Umberto Lenzi is one of the people who would tell you, and in fact, he apparently did this to Quentin Tarantino, that these are not zombies. How dare you call these people zombies? They are, in fact, radiation-infected people.
Yeah. Which it does tell you several times through it, which I really enjoyed. I mean, there's exposition in this movie, but it's actually quite sort of well placed and elegantly put. And with the English dub over the top of it, it's sometimes it just sounds way too posh for what they're actually trying to put across there. And in a lot of ways, this reminded me of the Toxic Avenger as a concept,
right?
But not with one toxic person, not with just Toxie. It's like a whole fucking army.
A lot of Toxies, yeah.
Yeah, because they've got the face, it's almost like Toxie's face.
Yeah.
For anyone who's a fan of trauma, such as myself. Shout out to Lloyd Kaufman.
Yeah, of course, every time. So I guess that kind of brings two questions. So basically, this is the first film to have running zombies in it.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
So before this, the zombies were shuffling, if they were kind of recently reanimated, obviously, because, look, they're dead. So It's their brain's not working properly. Or in the case of other films, they're not really zombies. They're just infected with something or other. I guess the question that I have, a good point to start on this is, in your opinion, are these zombies? Or are they not zombies?
I think that these are not zombies.
Right.
But I mean, that's kind of a running theme through this episode. This is our Italian zombies episode, and I don't really think any of them are zombies.
Yeah, which is very curious because I agree with you. I don't think they are zombies because literally in the first 10 minutes you have a quote-unquote zombie firing a machine gun at someone, which is
I mean, I had a great time watching this movie. Thank you, Lenzi. This was for sure, it's action-packed. I mean, there's a lot going on here. It's very well shot. It's, it's quite pretty to look at. And the music is badass. The soundtrack's phenomenal. It's cheesy, but it's amazing at the same time.
Yeah, so the soundtrack is formed by Silvio Cipriani, who, going back to our Video Nasty days, so he did the soundtrack for Bay of Blood, and he's done all kinds of Italian sort of giallo and exploitation-y type films. And yeah, the score to me is the best part of the film. It's really awesome. There's the main theme, which is a real kind of earworm. It really gets in your head, and then there's kind of variations from that kind of as it goes on. Yeah, I agree. They're not zombies. There's a lot of them, obviously. The first 10 minutes of this film is hilarious. So you've got our main character, who is Dean Miller. He is a reporter, and he has been asked by his boss because there has been a nuclear outbreak, or there's been a radioactive fallout at a nuclear power plant. There's a professor flying in, and he has been sent out to interview him. There is a plane that lands at an airport, and obviously Dean Miller is there to interview the professor. And then all these kind of infected people come out of this plane, and they kill so many people in the space of about 5 minutes. It's hilarious.
Oh my God, yeah. And like, it's so funny, like I said, about the sort of eloquent English dub, where Miller just goes, "I don't believe it." And it's like, yeah, I mean, that's one way of putting it.
Yeah.
Probably my reaction would probably be a bit more extreme than that.
And I love it because none of the infected people attack him or his cameraman. They just go after like all the police and the military people at the airport. It's just, yeah.
It's chaos. I mean, this entire film, you can't really take your eyes off it. There's just so much going on.
Yeah, so this is an Umberto Lenzi film. So if you listen to our last show, first of all, thank you very much if you did. And if you didn't, please go back and listen to it. Lenzi loves in the first half of his films just to throw a million things at you. It's just like, here's all this stuff, like, and then it kind of calms down a little bit. So I'll say halfway through. And this is, I think, his most kind of deranged film in that way. At least that from memory anyway, because yeah, so much happens in the first half of this film. There's like a whole attack, I say, at an airport. Then there's an attack at a TV studio.
Yeah. Oh my God, I loved it. It went straight from that plane attack to like an 80s dance interlude in blue leotards. And I was like, oh, this is just the perfect balance. Like,
it's so cheesy, isn't it?
The TV show, it's like, this is how they choose. Because bear in mind, back then in the 70s, you had like what? Between 2 and 4 channels, probably 3 channels, I think you had at that point. And it's like, well, that's how they choose to fill the airtime with this show called It's All Music, which is probably really badly translated from something cool in Italian. And every video nasty should have this 80s dance interlude. It was just so satisfying. Yeah. And I just knew that they were going to be like, you know, just disposable humans for the future. So I was like, oh, yes, we're waiting for that.
Yeah, it also kind of reminded me of The Substance.
Yeah.
Like, not the film itself, but more what Sue is doing. Like, the show that she's on, where she's just her and a bunch of other attractive people just dancing and gyrating to music.
So a lot of stuff in this film reminded me of like Toxic Avenger meets The Substance, because yeah, it's like the whole TV channel thing. And then the fact that it was radioactive kind of reminded me of the substance that she was taking and how mutated she got at the end as well. For fans of The Substance.
Yeah, the plot isn't really like The Substance, but I agree there are kind of aspects of this film that are similar to The Substance.
Similar themes. It's almost like it could have inspired little parts of The Substance.
Sure, Coralie was like, yeah, I'm going to watch Nightmare City. Yeah, sure. And then get inspired. Wasn't so much a fan of the makeup in this film, if I'm being honest. A lot of it, I don't know if it's because there's like so many infected people that they have to kind of, make up, so to speak. Some of them it just looks very ropey kind of makeup.
Yeah. I mean, part of me enjoyed how basic it was, that it didn't sort of try hard, and that it's obviously, now we use loads of CGI, but it was obviously practical effects, but it is a little bit ropey. I don't really know what it's supposed to look like burnt kind of. Yeah, it's just like brown crusted face, but it's
it
not
looks like
that effective.
Some of the people just look like they're wearing like a mud pack.
Yeah.
It's just just not that convincing, really.
Yeah. I mean, some parts of it were a little bit scary. Like, I think there were some parts like closer to the end where they had special heads to shoot off and blow up. And those are like pretty spectacular, but they knew that they were going to do a close-up of that, so they'd obviously worked on it.
Yeah, sure. Now, like Eaten Alive, Mel Ferrer is in this film. very randomly, and he has more of a role to play, although it's very interesting. He only seems to have been shot in one location. So I wonder if like his parts were only filmed in one day. Now he plays General Murchison, who is, he's kind of the head of the military. He's kind of there to basically tell the TV kind of station, like, because Dean, he wants to basically kind of show people like, look, this has happened at the airport. There are all these infected people, you've got to be careful, don't go out basically, because you might probably get killed. And then he's like, no, you can't do this, and he's trying to kind of contain it. And like he's got all these exposition scenes where basically he's kind of like explaining like, oh, here's what's actually happening. It's like these people, they're created by radioactivity and you have to shoot them in the head.
Yeah.
And all that type of stuff.
I'm loving like how much Miller was taking his job so seriously that he's like saying, I'm a journalist, my job is to keep the public informed. Like he's really serious about it. And
in a democracy, like, you have to allow freedom of the press.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is,
and a few
very pertinent in today's world, I would say.
Yeah, agree totally. And there's a few dodgy New York accents thrown in there. So.
I mean, that's just a lot of the kind of Italian kind of English dubs, because if you watch enough of these films, you'll start recognizing voices. It's like, oh, it's that guy or that woman. It feels like about 4 or 5 people doing everyone's voice, like in these films. It's always quite fun.
I love it how they also said that, like, when they put out the warning, it was like maximum urgency.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I mean, I'd say that's pretty high
urgent,
on the emergency scale.
Yeah.
Also, the wife who did the sculptures. Oh man.
Yes.
They're pretty disturbing sculptures.
Yeah, so one of the kind of major characters in the film is Major Warren Holmes, and his wife, who's Sheila. Basically, Sheila is doing this sculpture of like a head, and it looks like Lenin. Is it supposed to be like her husband's head that she's sculpting, or is it Lenin, or I don't know? It just looked bizarre.
It's supposed to be his head, but it's quite offensive and ugly.
Pretty much, yeah. I love in this film, it's more in the next film, but it's just random TNA.
Yeah.
Just for no reason. Like, there is actually no plot reason for there to be TNA, but I never used to, I don't know if I've changed or the world's changed, but like stuff like that never used to kind of
bother you.
Not bother me. It doesn't bother me. I just notice it more now.
Yeah, I feel the exact same. I was like rolling my eyes. I was like, oh God, here we go again. But it does feel like it's like obligatory in this. It's like there's going to be lots of booze, like whiskey. It's probably going to be J&B because they're in all of these Italian movies.
I didn't spot any J&B in either of these 2 films, unfortunately. Maybe there was no budget for it.
Yeah, I don't think there was any budget for J&B because like the cool films have the J&B in, but they had the bottles that were like unmarked or they were like turned the other way. So I think the intention was there. They wanted the J&B, they just didn't allow budget. But it was like, you're going to have whiskey in it, J&B, and you're going to have naked women and lots of boobs in it. And
yeah, there's a lot of, especially in the hospital scene where women are being killed and like they happen to get their tops ripped open before they get killed. It's just like pretty blatant.
I think both of these movies that we're talking about in this episode have like cutting of the breasts, biting, or like blood sucking of the breasts, or like, basically hacking breasts off. So yeah, they use it to their advantage in the way of like, the usual TNA, like obligatory part of it. Yeah. And then turn it into horror.
Lenzi loves breast-eating. Breast-eating seems to be a thing that happens like in all his films. Like someone will have their breast cut off and eaten. And all this.
We've watched it so many times in these movies, it does kind of make me laugh now, but it does feel very like, oh, we've really moved on since then.
Yes. Some random highlights, to me anyway. There's an exploding TV monitor, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
It's just... So Dean, like he's being attacked at the TV studio, and he just I think it's meant to be a TV monitor. Anyway.
Yeah,
it just blows up into smithereens, like somehow.
It's like erupts into a huge fireball. Like it's amazing.
Yeah. Another one is so this character Sheila. So she's been told you got to lock all your doors, and she's looking outside, and lawnmower is just on by itself.
Oh yeah.
She's just so
Don't
random.
know what that was about. It's supposed to be spooky, like a spooky lawnmower.
So bizarre. There's just and like I think Dean as himself is kind of hilarious. He's very serious.
Yeah.
He's almost too serious to the
Yeah.
point of being like unintentionally funny. So after he quits his job, like there's a woman on the phone. He just said, "No, get off this phone now. I've got to get on the phone." Call my wife. Or like when he's being attacked, he always does like kicks. He'll like do like these kind of kung fu style kicks.
Oh
on,
my
like,
God.
It's hilarious.
I didn't notice that part, but one part that a couple of bits I noticed. So they called the whole plan like really late in the film. They're like, "Oh, this is a big emergency, so we need a plan. We're going to call it Emergency Plan H." Well, right, okay. And then they're like, "But if it gets really out of hand, it's like, so this isn't already out of hand enough for you, okay? Plan B is the reserve plan. So Plan H is the first one, and then it's Plan B." Like, what? Okay. And then matey boy rings up his wife Sheila. What's he called?
Oh, it's Major Warren Holmes. Major Holmes.
He calls up Sheila, his wife, the sculptress, and she's like, "Oh, hello." She's like, I was in the bathroom doing my hair. And I'm like, "Oh, of course you were. Like, what else do ladies do?" And they're like, a homemaker, and all you've got to do is like your sculptures for your hobby. I was hoping she would have answered the phone and said something more manly, like changing a tire or unblocking the drains. But anyway. I demand a rewrite for this section.
It was 1980 after all.
Yeah, she was doing her hair because she wanted to look nice for him that evening. Great use of time.
Yeah, I actually, and this is a theme across all of these films. And look, I appreciate it was a different time, and I don't want to be one of those people who's kind of like, well, let's put it this way: you can't judge old films by modern standards in a lot of ways. It's just not really fair because society was different back then. But it is quite amusing to me, kind of like how a lot of the female characters just don't really have any agency in these films. Now
they don't really do anything. Like most of them don't have a job, and if they do, it's kind of like almost like a hobby for them.
Yeah, if they have a job, they're not taken seriously at all, or they're kind of patronized by all the men in the film.
Yeah.
So Dr. Anna Miller, obviously Dean's wife, so she's, a doctor, she works in a hospital.
Yeah.
And her purpose in the film seems to be for the screenwriter to kind of explain what the film is actually about, so i.e. nuclear power is bad guys, basically, and to be hysterical and kind of go like, oh, we're all going to die and get slapped. That's another thing. There was a big old like calm down woman slap that happens in this film, which
there was that one bit where the surgeon's doing some very important surgeon work, and he's like, "Oh, we've run out of plasma. Go down to the basement and get like bottles of plasma, which is basically blood." So off she goes on her own, and it's like, oh, she's just there to just pass him things, really.
I mean, pretty much, but that is kind of what people do. I think that's even the case now. Like, you have one person who's doing the surgery, and then the other people there are just, "Can you help me out, please? Like, do this now." Like, the person's life's at stake here.
Just wipe the sweat off the brow. But there was a few like really cool like bits in it, like you say, like set pieces. And there's one quote that I really liked where this guy said, "Hold your socks on," quite like that. So it must have been like translated really weirdly. There's another bit where in the hospital it said, "Oh, they're coming in like flies," like all the patients that were like fucked up, and also appreciated like the old 70s American ambulance. It's like it's used as a Ghostbusters car in Ghostbusters. I appreciated that. That was cool. And like the whole stay at home warning just kind of, it had pandemic vibes for me. I was like, oh, I've got to lock the doors and stay home.
Yeah, and not talk to anyone and kind of all that kind of stuff. Although, as always, these characters never do what they're told.
Yeah, she just went out to have a little stroll around the garden with the lawnmower, didn't she, at one point?
Yeah, a magical lawnmower. My favourite quote in the whole film that was so funny is there's the general's daughter is a random side character in this. Her and her husband just go away, and the husband says these people turn up because they're in a caravan site by themselves. Anyway, this guy says, definitely the last thing you should really say before you get killed is, "Hey, what are you doing with that gun?" She's like,
It's awesome.
What else are you going to be doing with a gun? It's so stupid. It's just
I
hilarious.
liked the bit where I can't remember who it was. It might have been that couple, actually, the daughter. But they were slagging off, like they were saying, "Oh, unhealthy choices in life, like nuclear energy and Coca-Cola." I was like, "Oh, this and Coca-Cola. It's not quite in the same league as nuclear energy, really."
No, I mean, Coca-Cola's not exactly healthy. I mean, nuclear energy is now. I equate this to like Troll 2. Not maybe the best film to kind of compare with, but Troll 2 is basically it's kind of anti-vegetarian propaganda.
Yeah.
And this is like, well, vegetarianism is not whatever. I think being a vegan or a vegetarian, as you can speak for your your own experience, and
I am vegan. Yes.
Yes, it's actually pretty good. There's nothing really wrong with it, and nuclear power is actually surprisingly safe.
Yeah,
but obviously, Mr. Lenzi was not having any of that.
No, there's that bit where Anna goes to get provisions from the gas station, and she's basically there. I think she's getting water, but then she's just like raiding the whiskey. It's like, God, everyone in these Italian films just loves alcohol. Like any excuse that, like, oof, I'm going to get a stiff drink because this is a bit difficult.
The world.
Yeah. They're like always topping. I'm so sober. It's like they're just always topping up their glass. They've got a little hip flask tucked away. Like, what's the obsession? I liked that bit where they all piled out of a van. All the sort of.
It's like coming out of a clown car.
They just kept rolling out. Yeah, it was like, holy shit.
It is basically like the plane scene at the start. It's like, fucking, how many of them are there? And like, there's a lot about this film that doesn't really make sense if you think about it for more than a minute.
Yeah.
But like, how are all these infected people on a plane and they didn't kill the pilot?
Yeah, and then so they go to the church, which makes sense because she's like, she talks about vampires. She's like, oh, vampires can't. It's like, okay, vampires. So we haven't mentioned that yet, but all right. And the priest is taken, by the radioactiveness, which was a pretty cool reveal. Quite like that. And then this epic set piece where it was like a fairground, and there's like these quote unquote zombies, radioactive people climbing up the roller coaster.
Yeah.
Climbing up the frame of the roller coaster, should I say.
Yes.
And then like shooting off the mutant heads, which I said was like the close up with the prosthetics, like prosthetic heads was pretty cool. So there's like at least 3 of those where the head explodes. Quite liked that bit.
yeah, I thought you would. Which is a nice little segue. So you are the unalive scribe.
I am.
After all. And there are many, 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 many dead people in this film.
Yeah.
And before we watched it, I did kind of feel very sorry for you because you have to somehow try and keep track of all of this derangement, very fast cutting as, people and kind of infected people. Are they dying? Anyway, so how many did you get?
So, I'm back with the kill count, and I have a feeling that I think Greg set me up with this film, actually, because...
blame the DPP. It's their fault. They put it on this list.
Yeah, okay, so, I'm going to say, I quit the body count. I've quit. Retired. I'll be back next episode for that. No. 12 million. That is like a League of Gentlemen joke if anybody watches it. 12 million deaths in this film. Too many. Didn't count them. Sorry. It is an onslaught. I would have been there all day freeze framing to see how many deaths there were. So let's just say fuckloads of deaths.
Fuckloads of deaths.
That's it, yeah.
Now, on IMDb, it does actually say there are over 160 people.
Wow.
So that's a lot.
Okay. Well, let's go with 160 or 12 million.
Although, now, we normally warn people about spoilers on this show because, look, we're not coy with this stuff. We want to talk about the whole film. If you want to watch the film and then come back and listen to this, please do. There is a very, very key spoiler.
Oh, yeah.
That
I should have said that up front, really. Yeah, we are uncensored, we are spoilerific, and we do swear. So, probably not a family-friendly podcast.
Well, yeah. And why would you want to be family-friendly? Exactly. But there is a very, very massive spoiler that I now need to give, which if you do know it, cool, you know what I'm about to say. And if you don't, what I'm about to say may kill your potential enjoyment of the film. So please go away.
Fast forward 5 minutes.
Yeah, fast forward maybe 5 or 10 minutes. So this is all a dream, basically. So Dean and Anna, like they're they're being kind of taken off by the helicopter. Anna falls off the rope because she's useless. Basically, the film just presents her as completely incapable of climbing a rope.
Or holding on. I mean, she climbs it. She doesn't hold on.
Yeah.
And it's, to be honest, it's pretty brutal, that scene. Even though it's just quite obviously a fake dummy.
It's very obviously a dummy.
But it's like the notion of it is like, holy shit.
Yes.
She hits every rung of that roller coaster way down.
It's very, very brutal.
Yeah.
But then it turns out that the whole film has in fact been a dream. Dean has been dreaming everything that we've seen, which is very curious for a number of reasons. So, to be honest, body count wise, you could say the body count is 0 because no one's actually died. It's all a dream.
Well, there is that. So when I saw that plot twist, because this is the first time that I've actually watched this, like today, I was like, oh, God, not that old cliche twist. Yeah. It's so like, it was done to death when people realised that you could do that. Like, oh, it's all a dream.
It comes back to like Wizard of Oz, or even like before that, I think there's silent films where that's the twist at the end. Like it's in someone's head. Or
it's such a cop-out that it's like, oh, we're tired of that now. But then actually I thought this is actually quite clever because the whole thing just loops back around, and where they started it is where it finishes. So I was like, I actually quite like it because you could just keep watching it forever and ever if you wanted to.
If you wanted to, yeah.
Yeah.
Although the reason for the ending, again, this is according to IMDb, quote my sources, so this could be bullshit, but apparently the reason that they chose that as the ending is because essentially they'd ran out of money. And they didn't know how to end the film, and so they thought, fuck it, we'll just do it as a dream.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah. So, yeah, obviously, look, if you watch the film, the fact that apparently it's a dream doesn't make a lot of sense because there are various scenes from other characters' point of views.
Yeah.
So is Dean like, so when it's the general is talking to, the other military people, or when it's Sheila at home with her husband, or when it's all the general's daughter with her husband, like, is he dreaming all that stuff as well? It doesn't really add up, does it?
Yeah, it's a bit of a cop-out, isn't it? But it's quite a good film. Like, I really enjoyed it. It was really fun. I liked it on the whole. I think it's one of the better ones that we've covered for a while. Like, I know we're freshly back, but of all the video nasties that we've covered,
sorry, Eaten Alive.
it rates quite high.
Yeah.
On the fun factor, it rates quite high.
Yeah, and I would say, kind of just to round the film off, I mean, yeah, I enjoy it. It's a fun watch. It's batshit mental.
Yeah.
Like, it's, you can't possibly get bored watching this, which I think if you're going to watch a film that's not, super high grade, like 10 out of 10, you know what I mean? Like, awards contender type film. Yeah, you may as well watch a film that's just completely crazy and there's like a million things going on. And like, yeah, people do things that don't really make sense.
It made me laugh.
It made me laugh as well because
it shocked me.
I forgot.
It surprised me. What more do you want from a movie?
Yeah. As I mentioned earlier, sort of the makeup effects aren't great. It's different, I guess, even if it's not a quote-unquote proper zombie film or whatever, even if you're kind of saying, well, look, they're not really zombies, it's still quite fun and it's interesting, like, I guess, in that regard.
Yeah. It's quite unique, really, as a concept, the whole radioactive thing, because it doesn't feel like a zombie movie to me, but yeah, it still feels like there's not a lot of movies that cover that sort of area.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, I do kind of recommend it. I say, look, it's not the best film I've ever seen in my life, but I mean, Quentin Tarantino enjoys it, like I said. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a fun one. Just don't expect it to like make a lot of sense in places. Mm-hmm. So as we always ask on these shows, because it's a video nasty show and it's a section 3 show, we're going to ask, should this film have been a video nasty at all? And if so, should it have been a section 2 or a section 3?
I'm going to go with yes, and I'm going to go with that it was well placed in section 3 because I think it's more because of some nudity and tiny bit of gore, blood and gore. But yeah, mostly for the sort of boobs and the boob cutting. I think section 3 is quite apt. What do you think?
I mean, I'm kind of, as you know, I'm kind of nonplussed with a lot of this stuff. Like, unlike the last show where it's like, yeah, I can see that being a video nasty. I think with these two films, it's a bit more kind of unclear. Like, I personally wouldn't say it is, but I can see why it was a Section 3, if that makes sense. Just because, you do have kind of blood on boobs, which is a big no-no with the BBFC kind of back in the day. And you do have women like having their breasts cut open, and it's very gory.
Yeah.
And it's violent. Now, to me, you say, look, that's no big deal. But I guess to other people it is. So, yeah, sure. I can kind of understand that.
Yeah.
But overall, sort of a fun one. And if you want to own it, be that you want to watch it on streaming, you want to watch it on physical media, you've got several options. So if you are a Prime Video member in the UK or America, apparently it's available on there. So if you have a subscription, you can watch that. You can buy it on Apple TV in most places. If you are in America, you can buy it on Amazon Video. And if you are a member of Canopy or Mama2, I think that's how you say that, you can watch it for free. If you're in Canada, you can watch it on Crunchyroll. Oh. So it's available in quite a few different places. If you want to own it, like actually touch it with your hands, physical media, you've actually got a couple of options. So in America, it's available via Raro Video, and in the UK, it's available through Arrow on Blu-ray. But both of those are region free. So you can actually get either and be able to watch it.
Yeah, I love Arrow.
Yes, I like Arrow too. I own many of their kind of physical Blu-rays and all that type of stuff. So so worth owning if you're into your zombie films, even though, like I said, it's not technically a zombie film.